Hey guys, Logan here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys another 2019 movie review. The last one I did was for Ma, and it was more than a week ago since I've done that review. This time, I'm going to be doing my review for Godzilla, King of the Monsters, directed by Michael Dotley. I think that's how you say his last name. If I didn't, then my mistake. He directed films such as Trick or Treat and Krampus. And the stars of this film are Millie Bobby Brown, Vera Farmiga, and this one guy who's like the main male character, the main male lead in this film. It also stars Ken Watanabe, who appeared in this film's predecessor from 2014, so he's back in the mix. The crypto-zoological agency, Monarch, faces off against a battery of God-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the three-headed King Ghidorah. I watched the 2014 Godzilla film, and I enjoyed it. I didn't care much for what happened in the first half, but once the second half started, the film got better for me. It became more watchable when the second half started, and I enjoyed it. The second half is what made the movie for me, whenever Godzilla is on screen. You could say that I was anticipating this film to be good, since I did watch the 2014 Godzilla film. However, I was let down by this film. It's not as good as the 2014 Godzilla film. It's just not. There were a lot of epic monster fight scenes to be found in this film, particularly the final fight scene between Godzilla and King Ghidorah. That was badass. There's also some epic moments with Rodan. I'm not going to spoil it, but there was one chase scene with Rodan, which was very intense. And then there were a couple of scenes with Mothra that I thought were very stunning and very impressive. So basically, the epic moments with Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah are some of the best parts in the entire film. However, they were mostly minimum and were used from the perspective of the human characters, which leads to one of my biggest problems with this film, if not the biggest problem I have with it. The human characters. None of them were that interesting, except for one, and that's a little girl played by Millie Bobby Brown. She was the only character in this film that I related to, or that I cared about and understand where she's coming from, and I actually rooted for her, compared to all the other characters that were either forgettable, not interesting, or did some really questionable decisions that led up to what happened later on in this film, particularly Vera Farmiga. Now, I love Vera Farmiga. She's an actress that I heavily admired. When I first watched the first two Conjuring films, I feel like she was great in those two films. And since then, I became a fan of hers. However, her character has fallen, as well as most of the characters, but mostly her character, has fallen into a very weak-ass script that just completely falls apart, especially when characters give out a lot of exposition, which, by the way, I mean, not to say that giving exposition is unnecessary. You can do that. You just have to do it with a character that is more interesting. And as far as I'm concerned, almost none of the characters in this film were that interesting. And once they spewed out everything that has been happening, how did it start, and what's going to happen after that, just stuff like that, it's just treating the audience like idiots. They acted like we don't know what's happening, or the film felt like it doesn't know what its audience is thinking about or knows what's going on. We know what's happening and what's going on and what's about to happen. The story, along with the execution, fell flat on their faces. The film really falls apart, especially at the middle of this film. Lots of characters that you couldn't care less about. The decisions they made that were baffling, that led up to the consequences later on in the film that were very costly. Needless to say, this was a letdown. Lots of things about this film could have been done better, and even though I didn't particularly love the 2014 Godzilla film, it at least know what it is and what was supposed to do, particularly in the second half. This film just seems to want to go all over the place and does few things that were not very right, and it's basically a mess, especially at the middle part of it. I'm going to give Godzilla, King of the Monsters, a silver medal of honor. If you're a huge Godzilla fan and you love this movie, that's fine. More power to you. But as a not mega fan of Godzilla, but a casual fan of Godzilla, I was let down by this film. It really could have been done better, as far as the issues that I have with it that I just mentioned. Anyway, guys, that is my review for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I have more 2019 movie reviews coming to you as soon as I'm done with this one, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it that like button to click, and if you'd like to see future videos from me, make sure to press up there to subscribe, and don't forget to turn on that bell icon so that you'll get notified about my latest videos. Have a great day, and as always, fight the good fight.